My name is Kendall Grice, and I'm a fashion merchandising major with a minor in textiles and marketing. For a class I'm in right now, I'm in the design and production class, so that means we're just doing like standard artistic weavings on a floor loom. The first part of doing that is actually a lot of math. You have to sit down and calculate how many inches of yarn you need for the warp and the weft of your design. So the warp is the yarn that runs vertically and is attached to the loom, and the weft is what you insert. So after you do the steps to go through the mathematical calculations, you take the warp to a warp board, which is pegs on the wall, and with your calculations you know how long each strand has to be. So then you have to wrap it around, and then from there, if you're going to dye your yarn, you can go ahead and move it on to the dye lab. So after that's done and you've dyed your yarn, you rinse it all out, and then you have to let it dry, and after it dries you can move on to your loom. And once you get to your loom, there's something called a dent, and the dent is lots of little slots, and that's the first thing you have to thread all of your yarn through. And then from there you have to thread your heddles, and depending on how you're weaving and what your pattern's going to be, you have a certain order you have to thread them in. And then after that you can tie it on in the back, and then you roll back your loom and wind it around the back bar, and then you have to tie it on in the front, and you have to adjust your tension to make sure it's all even, and then finally at that point you can start to weave.
I'm Lindsay James. I'm a textile graduate in the School of Art. I'm working on, for the design and production course that we have here, I'm working on a sample of 8-shaft twill patterns. And I'm using alternative materials. So I have this tape that I'm working with that is just from like a normal tape cassette that I'm recycling. You can't really see down here, but we have like petals that we pull up, and then we have a beater that we pull back. So you kind of can vary what you're doing, not only by the threads you're using, but how you're picking up yarns and what your beading is like. And that just means like pushing the yarns into place. This is my life. I'm always in here. So.